And welcome back to a fish room video. Yes, this is my private fish room. Yes, it is absolutely freezing. Unheated, we're at 13.1 degrees Celsius. So all the Fahrenheit people out there, that is 55.5. That is freezing. Yeah, I do not like the cold. I have set up a new temporary shrimp rack because I've been moving the shrimp out of that nightmare over there. Yes, my fish room is all undercover and sort of in the open. That is why it's cold. I might fix that for next winter, I think, because yeah, you don't want to know how big my power bill is. I might do a video on how insane the power bill is. That'll probably freak everyone out and everyone will just close down their fish tanks and give up. But yeah, maybe that'll be a future video. Anyway, welcome back. We have new products, which is exciting. And yeah, if you've watched any of my other videos, listen, I trialed this Easy Life, which is like a weird clay which breaks down chlorine, chloramine, clears your water, does all sorts of stuff. It is really, really good product. I think made in the Netherlands. I now am stocking it. So big bottles like this, I think there's 1 litre, 500 ml, 250 ml. I'll do a video on that once I get more information and try and make it user friendly. It does way too many things. Like that's a little sample bottle there. It does a ridiculous amount of things, and it has made the water in these tanks so clear. I know, I've got the ozone turned off at the moment. Usually I run ozone, I've got UV, all that sort of stuff. These tanks are 9x4 to give you an idea. Big messy fish, giant gourami, cool torpedoes, Saratoga, all that sort of stuff. Very old Oscars and peacock bass, etc, etc. Absolute nasty, nasty Australian native fish. Yeah, all sorts of bits and pieces. And it is still a giant mess over here. I know, I am gonna sort the tannic acid out in this tank. Oh, knife fish is out. There he is, in the murk. Yeah, I'm gonna sort out the tannic acid in this tank. Oh, reflection is not great, is it? Yeah, with some different filtration and stuff like that as well. Tannic acid is just the brown stuff coming off the driftwood. Perfectly fine for the fish. Water quality is reading good and the fish love it, but it looks brown. Yeah, so if we sort of stand back, brown, not brown. I know, you can see the fish, you can not see the fish. But anyway, this tank, which is the Groper tank, there he is right at the back, lurking behind the algae because I don't clean my glass. It is murky because I'm trying Easy Life in this tank too. Yeah, and it's just a clay that helps with everything. He has destroyed another wave maker, so I have yet another wave maker. This is one of the Delure, the biggest model. I don't even know how big it is. I'm sorry. Delure's not watching this video, so it's okay, but it's the biggest wave maker. Cool little controller. I've now got it zip tied to a piece of PVC pipe. Let's see if the Groper can destroy that. And are you gonna come up? You're not gonna come up. He does not like the camera. But he is just about 3 foot long now, to give you an idea. I know, this tank is a lot bigger than it looks. It's 90 centimeters, well, I think it's about 80 centimeters front to back, and he does touch front to back, so I'm gonna have to move him into a much bigger tank. I know, I just have to move everything around. But anyway, in this video, let's show you some cool new bits and pieces. So obviously, I try all this stuff at home before I sell it. But Davinchi fish food. Now this is a different weird one too, and it's going with the clay theme of the Easy Life. This has a clay in it for digestion, all sorts of stuff. Sort of an expensive food. I think it's made in America. I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, there you go, made in USA. Yeah, so I've got a few different ones of those to try. So I've got an African cichlid one. I am selling this as well. And this one, which is a veggie deluxe for the Tropheus and stuff. And talking about Tropheus, my little Pulu points somewhere in here, and what I'll do is I'll open this. I need 2 hands for that. And Benji, what are you doing? I'll open this and be back. I really need 3 hands, don't I? But that is the pellet, and it's coated with that weird clay stuff. So it's slow sinking. So it'll take these Tropheus a while to eat it because obviously they're grazers. But the little ones with the blue dots, they're Du Boise, and the little boring brown ones are my cherry spots. Wishy your Pulu Point Tropheus. Well, I hope they are. They all kind of look the same when they're small. So if you're a Tropheus expert, Do you reckon those are Pulu Point? I know, I will find out once they mature. I only lost one of them, so I think I've got 10 out of the 11. I can't remember how many I've got. I'm not going to count them because obviously if you count them you jinx it and then you lose another one. But they are doing well. They're a little bit smaller than all the other Tanganicans, and they have brought out the Cylindricus, which is great. So all the Cylindricus are doing well. I have not seen any baby Cylindricus yet, so go figure. And actually down the bottom, still completely spooked, my featherfin cichlids, which are darting around. They do not like the phone in their face. Yeah, still have to settle down, and I think the fact that they're down the bottom here, not that anyone walks past their tank, yeah, it's just made them a little bit more spooked. But the whole idea is once they settle in, and I've got some Dimbiachromis, which are the little stripy ones. If I zoom in the back, okay, thanks fish. If I zoom in, the striped ones, the striped Dimbiachromis, they're a Malawi cichlid. I've just added them to the group just for now because they're going to get way too big, just to sort of calm them down. But it's not really working, so hopefully it will work eventually. And yeah, all the other little guys are hiding in their tunnels. So there's a gold compressiceps, there is a black calvis doing its black calvis thing. Yeah, okay, I'm going to walk away from that tank. I'm going to pop all these in here with all these Malawi cichlids, which at the moment are just all dumped in together until I deal with that. And I will be dealing with that. Oh, there we go, they're grazing now. Much better. So yeah, new food. Hopefully they will enjoy it. They look like they're okay with it right now, nibbling away. But yeah, Tropheus are an absolute awesome Tanganican fish. If you've never seen Tropheus before, they will totally change colour. So the ones with little white, blue dots to them will not stay that colour. I know, it'd be awesome if they did, but the adults have a really nice bright yellow vertical stripe in the middle of them, and a blue face and a black body. So it's sort of blue, yellow and black. And the other ones, little boring brown ones, the Pulu Points, they're going to go two bright orangey red spots on them on sort of a blacky brown body. Really, really nice fish. And they only max out about that 10-12 centimeters. A little bit aggro, low protein eaters. So they're grazers in the lakes, eat algae, biofilm, all that wonderful stuff. Yeah, I will need a lot more of those, and yeah, I plan on having a colony in each 4-foot tank when I move everything around again anyway. Okay, more products. That's the food. Easy Life, yeah, I'll get more into that in detail eventually. But this stuff, Voogle, which is like Google with a V. Wow. Now this is a plant extract. It is super, super interesting. It blocks something called cortisol, I'm pretty sure it's cortisol, which is a stress hormone produced in fish when they're stressed, like being moved or not 100%, so they have a weakened immune system. And cortisol screws around with the little bits and pieces inside the cell. I'm not going to get into the technical names of it all, but it blocks the cells from breaking down nasty bacteria and viruses and all that sort of stuff. So this blocks the chemical that screws the immune system of the fish when the fish are stressed. Is it a chemical? No, it's not a chemical. It's an enzyme or something like that. All you really need to know is this is a natural product. It is not an antibiotic or anything like that. They're plant extracts, trace elements, and it's not trace elements either. It's plant extracts, vitamins, minerals, yeah, all sorts of weird stuff. It's made in the Netherlands. It absolutely kicks ass. It is a totally different way of doing stuff. It's been around for ages. There is not really much information about this online, apart from scientific papers where they go on about names that you've never heard of and things inside cells that you've never heard of that do things and are stressed out by other chemicals produced by the fish. And anyway, the way that it works is pretty awesome. Google that, Google Voogle. And it will make a little bit more sense as I get my head around a little bit more of that, because I did not do anything at school with cells and anatomy and all that, as you can probably tell. That's why I muck around with fish in little glass boxes, I guess, and I don't work in a lab, unfortunately. But yeah, it's a really interesting way that how this works. Yeah, blocks a hormone that blocks the things in your cells from killing invading parasites and bacteria and all that sort of stuff. So really awesome, awesome product. So I do stock that as well. Hopefully you got your head around that. I know, everyone that has a vague background in knowing stuff has just rolled their eyes at me, but hey, it's pretty awesome product. I also got this, which removes silicate, which is the stuff that makes the brown algae stuff, the diatom algae, in your tank. So interesting product, super keen to try that, but then I realized I don't have any brown diatom algae in any of my bloody tanks, do I? So yeah, I'll hunt down a tank at work and try it in that. But anyway, while we are here, our pygmy corydoras, there they are there. They have gone crazy laying eggs. Now, a lot of the eggs were no good. See, the white ones are fungus, mostly because I haven't altered the water hardness in this breeding setup. A few babies have survived, so I'll put some footage on the screen. Check that out. Yes, that is on a loop, but that is a little tiny baby that hatched last night that I just noticed when I checked all the fish. Yeah, it is in there somewhere. I know. So there are a few that are hatching, and the whole idea of this is they lay in there, which they have been, and on the glass. Those are little cory eggs there. A lot of them are pretty dodgy though. Some of them are okay. And yeah, they're hatching, they're going through this little pipe and ending up in there. All going well. So I have not even checked the floor of this yet to see if I can see any babies, but they'll be in there somewhere. They are really, really, really small. I know. Anyway, at least you got some footage on screen. In here, same sort of tank sort of setup. I've had my albino and normal neons breeding in here. So they've been laying eggs in this moss, and their eggs have been hatching, going up here into here. Now, I don't expect many of these to survive again because all these tanks are hooked up together. And yeah, they just go by a simple sort of overflow into my sump and then pumped back up into all the little tanks. So I've got videos on how this was set up. So if you go back to fish room videos, you'll see the videos on how this is set up a little bit more in detail. But yeah, all this water is connected. So I need to alter the water hardness, which is the GH, bring it down so that the eggs develop better and actually get fertilized. But in here, there are, if we can even see them, there's a couple there. Those little white things are albino longfin corydoras. And they're a little bit big compared to the baby fish. Well, the other baby fish, the neons. So I need to get them out of there. I cannot see any neons. They're usually stuck to the front plastic, but yeah, they're just a little bit too hard to see with this camera. Well, it's just my phone. So what I might do is switch out this breeding box with a new breeding box, and then hopefully, yeah, we'll have a nice, oh wait, there's one. There you go. There is an albino neon tetra. Tiny little albino neon tetra. That is pretty small. Yeah, it's that small there. That's a fingery hand thing, yes. Look at that. I don't know if we can zoom. Where are we? I can't even find it now. That's where we are with all this. We cannot zoom in enough to find where that baby fish is. Oh, was that it? No. Okay, we're giving up, otherwise you're just looking at plastic. But there are fry starting to hatch, so I do need to, yeah, probably run my RO and alter all that. I have CPDs, celestial peldanios in here, only 2 green raspora. Yeah, the green raspora do not like the low water hardness, so I'm going to probably have to move them out before I muck around with that. But they've been spawning in there. I haven't seen any fry in here yet. Doesn't mean that there's no fry in there, but I'm just sort of ignoring it a little bit. And in here, my awesome little, what are they? They are leucistic Tetras. Yeah, just starting to get that purpley hue to them. The females are just starting to build up with eggs, as you can sort of see with some of them down the bottom. I haven't seen them spawn in there yet, but I also have not looked in here yet. So, yeah, the babies are just so small. Once you see one, you'll see a whole heap, but yeah, we're ignoring that for a little bit. Otherwise, my Otocinclus are doing well. There was a couple of girls that looked fat the other day. I don't think they look fat right now, so I have a horrible suspicion, and I've never bred these before, and again the water hardness is a little bit too high, yeah, that they're going to lay eggs and then the corydoras that live in this tank are just going to wipe them out. And I've got my albino cardinals in here as well, so they're getting conditioned. They're not big enough to spawn yet, so probably another month or so, which will be ideal conditions for them to spawn because it's just so bloody cold at the moment. I'm running this system at about 23 degrees. I think that says 21.8, but it's actually about 23.1 or something. I know, it's something weird with that thermostat. It's just not reading the same temperature as what all these tanks are. Go figure. But that is sort of where we are with that. I'm not convinced these are albinos now. Look at the black on them. They're not albino. They're starting to look like normal emperor tetras. Yeah. But they were white to start with, so I don't know what the go is with that. So maybe, yeah, like the frogs and stuff I breed, maybe they're born white and then they change colour. That makes no bloody sense. It's disappointing because they were white to start with, really, really pale, but now they just look like normal emperor tetras. So that was a little bit of a fail. Yeah, the wholesaler that sold them as albinos, what are you doing? Those are the babies I've grown up, the littler ones, and yeah, they've all got black now, so whatever. Scarlet tetras are still doing well at the back there. There they are, being pretty. That one missing its face on the right hand side down the bottom, near those albino lemon tetras. Yeah, it's one of the original ones, and with those I took them home because they were dodgy. I think I ordered like 25 and there was only like 6 or 7 survive, and then all the little ones are their babies because yeah, they were spawning in summer and we had little babies everywhere. Those are the ones I managed to pick out of everywhere, and yeah, they're just doing their thing. I think for summer I'm going to set up a whole lot of tubs and spawn them in bigger numbers. Might go a little bit crazy with tetras. Oh, and while we're here, you're actually out. You are. Who's a good fish? Yes, you are. Yes, you need a much bigger tank. There we go. You can kind of see how big he is now. Yeah, I need to do something about that. I mean, the tank is still big, but obviously need a lot bigger for him. Quarantine tank. Now, I've used the Voogle in here. Look how nice the discus are looking. They are a lot perkier than they were. Obviously, none of these fish are for sale. That one's still a little bit iffy, but getting a little bit better. Yeah, they're just starting to colour up. So they're just turquoise. I do plan on breeding them again. And yeah, the gold severums, I think I've got 2 boys and a girl, I'm pretty sure. Or 1 boy, that's definitely a boy. Yeah, 2 boys and a girl. So I just have to make sure I keep that girl alive because a few people want gold severums. I need to breed them. Obviously, yeah. Otherwise, I think that is probably the basics of what the new stuff was. Davinci. Awesome Voogle. Yes, so Google Voogle. I've used this whole container actually because I've just dosed all the tanks for it just to help boost their immune system. I've had a couple of fish look not 100%, like this poor little catfish absolutely got butchered by the others. Look how skinny you are. I know, just holding on. That is the second one. The other one, that's a girl. The other one, which is the boy, which is way at the back of that tank, and that is 4 foot back in the tank. Yeah, he's starting to look a little bit better, but he is kind of harassing her now. There he is. His whiskers are growing back. He's the one that got absolutely butchered, look at his tail, by these monsters in here. So I've still got, what, 1, 2, 3 girls. I think I'm down to 3 girls in here. But they are the evil ones. Look at the missing bit on her tail. They're just a really annoying catfish to try and keep. Behind the wolf cichlid there they are, way down the back. There you are. Come here. Refuses to come here. So that's sort of what they should look like, minus the whisker, but all they do is harass each other and attack each other's whiskers. Oh, there's 4. There's a male way over here, and he's probably the one that has been upsetting everyone because he's got all his whiskers looking lovely. He is 4 foot back in the tank. There's some Oscars doing their Oscary things, Saratoga. redfin cigar sharks. They are huge fish. I know, they don't look big, but they're big. These are adult Oscars. There's a boy redfin cigar shark. I did have 4 of those. I'm pretty keen to get some more, but they're not going to fit in this tank. And as I said, this tank, there's my noisy sump. This tank is 9 foot by 4 foot. So yeah, should have cleaned the glass. Haven't cleaned the glass. Wolf cichlid being wolfy. Yes, you are. Yeah, sooty grunter being an absolute bugger of a fish. Yes, I may have to move the sooty grunter out because it's just going to get bigger and just going to absolutely annihilate everyone, I think. Yeah, all the bass are looking old and haggard, which is a bit of a shame, but it is what it is. A lot of rescue fish in here, fish I've grown up for years and years and years. That's such a cool catfish. Yes, you are. Oh, look at you, coming right up with your little bug eyes and your whisks. Anyway, I'll probably leave it at that. Yeah, there'll be another update on what's happening with those. But yeah, new products, little fish room update. Everything seems to be going quite well. How lovely is that Bashir or Baracha and the albino Hoplos? Oh, yeah, my little balloon Hoplos. Maturing, that's a male. How cool. That's a female, yay! Okay, so we've got males and females in the short bodies. Some of them are a little bit more short-bodied than others. I know, I did not deliberately breed short bodies, but I've kept them alive. I had to separate them from the normal ones, which these are the normal ones, brothers and sisters here. Grow them up, and yeah, I will spawn Hoplos again in a little bit. Oh, talking about Bashir, they're eating those new pellets. I can see it in your mouth. There it is. He's completely stopped moving now that I've shoved the phone in his face. That's hilarious. Yeah, I think I've got 1 left of these in the shop if you do want one. Only $100. Yep, sounds expensive, but not for Australia. These ones I'm going to grow up and, yeah, check males and females and keep some more girls because I've got a lot of boys in my other tank. Otherwise, that's probably about it. I could probably show you fish for absolutely ages. Hoplos are down the bottom. There's one of the girls lurking around in the sump. Anyway, we will see you in the next video. If you got any questions, comment down below. And yeah, thank you very, very much to all my members. Yep, lots of cool fish again turning up this week. So expect another unboxing video in a couple of days. Anyway, see you then. Bye.